All right, guys. We are here playing a best of 3 between Cham in the top right and Trigger in the bottom left. And they have full map vision. Let's go to Trigger's map vision. You can see what he can see. Oh my! That's right. Shows up on the minimap. You can see the units now. You can't attack them unless you actually have vision of them. But look at that. He's using the death vision mechanic here. You guys can search the MAPHACK mod if you want, and you can toggle it on and off for either player. Nexus first for Trigger coming in up against Hatch first for Cham. And you know, it was Trigger who said, dude, I think this really favors Zerg, because, like, I'll try to go macro, I'll build 80 probes, but in that time the Zerg will have 100 drones, you know, and I was like, actually, I'm pretty sure Protoss gets further ahead in macro these days. I think Zerg is the one who has the advantage of hiding information. I actually think this is way better for Protoss, and it's really funny, because we did a different series with Future versus Nina, and Future was like, man, this is so unfair, because now Protoss can see everything and just be greedy. And I was like, wait. In a normal PvT, Protoss has way more vision than Terran and reacts to things, and the Terran doesn't know what's going on, and that's why the Terran loses, if the Protoss scouts well and denies the Terran vision well. And it's the same in PvZ. It's if the Protoss can't get in and see things and they hide a Spire and 20 mutas come out, that's what kills you. It's if you don't see the big Roach Queen push coming across the map, right? So I tried to kind of convince Trigger of this. I was like, I think you're seeing this the wrong way. I was like, I actually think Protoss can be greedy, and especially because you can still make an Oracle and go across the map, or 2 Adepts, and Cham still has to respond to that. Because remember, and he even said it himself, Trigger was like, actually, if I think about it, Zerg kind of sees everything anyway, don't they? And I was like, yeah, they have way more scouting than you do in this matchup, right? Overlord sitting on pillars, Zerglings all over the map. So I think immediately his initial inclination, he was already thinking it through and going, oh, because obviously these players have not played with MAPHACKs before. Most of them haven't at all. Cham has played it once against Special. We did a show match with him in the past, a best of 3. Even that, it's one series. It's not like you're an expert. These guys have played thousands of games with limited information, playing around all of these things that they just take for granted, and they don't realize that actually there is so much that goes into it. And with all this information, there's so much you can do now. It's like, it's really fascinating. Look at this. He's moving out to take a third before building his next pylon. He's got 2 Adepts, a Stargate on the way, and he's thinking about that third Nexus. He'll have to get a pylon right after that. Otherwise, he will get supply blocked. Meanwhile, Cham's third base is up as well. So Cham's got 3 queens. Cham's already the master of doing kind of bare bones macro builds. But you can see Protoss is up 2 workers. And with these 2 Adepts coming out to do some pressure, it's like, hey, dude, you don't have link speed yet. And the thing is, what Trigger could do is he could move across the map. When he sees the lings pop out of the eggs, he could just run away. So he's already forcing 10 Zerglings here. And as long as his next shade, look, he could just look through and go, ooh, those are some Zerglings popping. Let's be careful. And yeah, he threatens the shade. And as he sees more lings popping out of these eggs, he should just back off. He's like, oh, you got ling speed and plenty. So Trigger's just going to go home now. Cham, no hiding from these lings, though. You got a shade. Get out of there, Trigger. Run! Okay, Trigger gets 1. Gets 2. Oh, he does a good wriggle, but he's going to take a bunch of damage. All right, does get out of there with the Adepts, though, for now. Void Ray's on the way. Void Ray's a pretty good idea. It's just a consistently attacking unit. Skipping the Oracle does mean there's no spores required, though. Oh, that Adept in a bit of a dicey position. Uh-oh. Those lings will get in if they want to, but a little bit risky. 47 probes versus 50 drones. Cham does feel like he's in a good spot. Oh, that fourth is brutal. I think send the Void Ray straight there and try to snipe it maybe, but already a creep tumor towards it. Cham's been really skimping on that. He's going double Evo lair. 11 more workers. Okay. Oh, and the thing is, second Stargate. Okay, I think Trigger's playing the wrong strategy. The problem, I was like, oh yeah, Void Ray is not bad, but I actually think this is a terrible idea. I think if he opened up with an Oracle, even 2, that he would actually have forced a lot more defense. I think Void Ray on 2 Stargate is appallingly bad, because this offers no offensive capabilities. You can get to 6 Void Rays, he could have 8 queens. He doesn't have to react. He's got 8 queens just by standard, he's fine. I think this is a terrible misplay by Trigger, but we'll see exactly if we're... I feel like if you hide Skytoss, it's good. If the Zerg doesn't know when you're building Void Rays, when you're building carriers, when you swap into ground off the Skytoss, it's good. But if they see you going it ahead of time, I think it's terrible. Let's find out, though. Trigger knows more than me about this game. He's much better than I am, but he's not experienced with MAPHACKs. Neither am I, to be fair. With double melee upgrades on the way, I think Cham's going to be able to start running in and canceling bases. Void Ray is not very effective versus these units. He's going to have to keep these Adepts in choke points. Fifth base already on the way for Cham, but Cham's only on 68 workers. That I find a little surprising. I thought this would already be saturated by the time it finished. I guess he's been busy taking his gas geysers. Infestation pits on the way, so Cham, I think, is planning to beat the Sky Toss by playing Massling Bane Ultra. Now, this sounds silly, but you can, if you have a big enough economy lead, you can just basically attack here, and here, and here, Ultras, Lings, Banes, and they won't have enough Void Ray carrier to defend it. Now, he's obviously going to add the Spire and start getting some upgrades, think about getting Corruptors. He could also get a very quick Hive, so he might cancel this Queen to start that Hive, just so that he can actually get Vipers to abduct the units, start picking off these Void Rays and carriers in small numbers. A very quick fifth base for Trigger right now, and it's an economic arms race. Both players feel like if I go for an attack, he's going to see it coming. It's going to do nothing. But I do think a little bit of light pressure is not a bad idea. They're both being so conservative, maybe giving each other a bit too much respect in this game. 91 drones for the Zerg, 87 probes for the Protoss. First 3 carriers getting close to popping. +1 ground attack is on the way, as well as +1 air attack. I don't know what the +1 ground attack is out. There we go. He's going to go Twilight and extra gateways now. I'm like, seems a bit early to start those ground upgrades, but Trigger is thinking miles and miles ahead right now. A couple Zealots, a cannon there. Battery would be a good idea as well. Void Rays do come in, and look at that savage blow! Takes out the 25 mineral structure, which it took a drone to build. And the damage is coming in really big in this game. Whoa! Yeah, might be being a little bit facetious here, guys. It's not that big of a deal. The Lings come in and they kill, I think, a Zealot. Uh-oh, the battery. He didn't move his probes in time. Big mistake for Triggs. Triggs got to get those probes out of there right now. Get those probes out of there, mate. Big mistake. If he blocked with his probes, he would have been fine, but... Oh, the 1-1 Lings kill way too many probes. Fails to Mineral Walk him. And he loses a bunch of probes, 20 probes for no good reason there. Should have been well defended. That's amazing momentum. Now 18 Corruptors, 2 upgrades on the way. And you better look through that menu. Let's go to Trigger's vision. He needs to see these Corruptors. They're all popping right now. You need to look across the map and realize this right now, dude. Get your carriers back to safety. Trigger, you need to go look at what's popping out of the eggs. Use your vision, bro. He's macroing cannons, batteries, gateways going up. I don't think his Templar Archive's almost done. He sees the Corruptors now, but they're already halfway across the map. He looked at it a little bit too late. We've already got 2 Zergans on the way. He hasn't made Adrenal Glands just yet. Only 9 Zergans. It's mostly Corruptors coming in right now. Now, obviously, Corruptors' main weapon is their PP. For those who don't know, they're out drinking beers all night before the battle to prepare. Some of them drinking Mountain Dew as well. Yeah, the extreme mountain combo, for those who don't know, Mountain Dew and beer. It's a great combination if you're an absolute psychopath who doesn't enjoy good things. Oh no! The carrier's out in the open. He should have been trying to get these back to more cannons for safety. This is a great fight for the Corruptors. Only 1 Archon in there, and he's... Oh man, the Zerglings are so... Is he attacking his own unit with that Archon? What's that Archon doing, man? I don't know if it was just fighting Zerglings or what, but that Archon did not help out very much here. Ooh, the carriers do get cleared out. The Hive starts up behind this. I guess... Wait, he doesn't have the Hive? Oh my god, his Hive's so late! But 92 Probe Protoss. Does 92 Probe Protoss care about losing these units? That's the question. Yes, of course he does right now. But my point being, like, he might be able to just get back in it, man. Okay, the Archon's gonna go in. Okay. He's gonna get this Nexus. Oh man, that's some caustic piss if I've ever seen some. Very nicely done with the Corruptors. Lings! The Lings are running in like crazy. So many Zerglings. No cannons there, and Trigger gets overrun in that game. Very well played by Cham. And he rolls over the top of Trigger. I don't think the Sky Toss was a good choice there. All right, guys, going into game 2, and Trigger has said, I'm the Zerg now. Cham's like, yeah, you don't get this on ladder, D-bag. Check this out, guys. That's Nexus, nice and early once more, and I wouldn't mind a really quick 3rd Nexus Estrella style. If you just go, like, 2 gate, 2 adept pressure, and then start making sentries and taking a 3rd, I think you're in such a good position. Maybe don't even bother with the sentries. I think a few sentries is always good for force fields, but you don't really need the hallucinations. Either way, guys, Cham there is going to be making a couple of queens. He likes to skip Ling speed wherever possible, so he'll probably be delaying it this game, I would imagine. He starts pulling off gas right about now. Trigger's not mining gas. Trigger's taking a gas. He hasn't started mining from it, which means he can't make adepts. I think he might be holding off on that gas mining a little bit too long. There we go. Saturates it. Not a bad idea. He should keep this rally point here, though. Only 1 gas into 3rd Nexus. He could start the 3rd right now. He's grabbing a probe. Oh, Trigger. Well, Wait, oh, is he just going to wall off, is he? What's he doing? Yeah, go take a third, bro. He's got one Adept and a Nexus on the way. Link speed has started. I wonder if Trigger's looked through the map, because he can actually look through and see that link speed's upgrading there because it's wobbling. For those who don't know, you can see when the spawning pool is upgrading, it's wobbling. So he can know, ooh, okay. You know, a minute and a half from now could be link speed coming in. Once again, a really weird wall off for him, but it is what it is. 2 gateways are now up. He's got 1 gas mining, 32 probes versus 29 drones. And he's going to start building a few gateways just to create a little bit of wall-offs, a bit of obstructions for his opponent. Cham's got that third base on the way right now as well. And link speed is on the way. I love that Printf made this MAPHACK mod using Death Vision, so the players can see everything on the map without actually being able to attack it unless they have vision of it. High ground's still going to block you, that sort of thing. 2 Adepts are on the way as well. So, chronoing Warp Gate, interestingly. 3 gates, Warp Gate, a battery coming in. Roach Warren goes down for Cham. It's pretty early Roach Warren right now. There's no tech for Trigger. Trigger is just going to play gateway units and batteries, I think. Just Adepts and Stalkers. These 2 Adepts going to go across the map. He's like, hey, you don't have any units. I really need to force you to build things that aren't drones. 10 Zerglings are on the way. Cham's going 2 gases, Roach Warren. Protoss should be pulling ahead in the workers a little bit here due to those Adepts coming across. Lair is there. We've got Adepts poking in from both sides. I think he should pull out. Trigger, when in doubt, pull out, buddy. Get out. Run! The Lings are coming. How can you sleep while the Lings are coming? Cancel, cancel. Yep. Cancel into recall. Great moves by Triggs. And Lair is on the way. 42 probes versus 48. 42 drones versus 48 probes in that. Is that a 4-minute and 7-second 4th Nexus? What? I mean, there's greed, and then there's what Trigger's doing right now. He says, I'm going to be the Zerg this time. You want to take 4 bases, 5 bases, double Evo chamber, and be as greedy as you did last game? I can do that. I can do that. You want to see how to play this mod? I'll show you how. Trigger trying on his you know, trying his hand at being a strayer right now. Adepts are in the walls of each base. Got a battery coming up as well. Oh, this is great. Trigger's well defended. Yeah, he's doing really good. 11 more drones are on the way for Cham. We're going to see double upgrades and Blink coming in when he gets the gas for it. But he's only now taking a 2nd and 3rd gas geysers. So he's realizing, crap. A bit slow on that. May not be the most organized build. Believe it or not, I did just make this up on the fly since I just found out I'm playing a MAPHACK challenge. The Adepts are going to take out a few of these Lings. 4th base is on the way, but it feels like Cham's still a little behind. He's got a couple Roaches coming forward, which I do like. And this is going to force Trigger to kind of gather his units and warp in some Stalkers. And Trigger's just been a little bit slow. He's spending his gas on Blink. He should be making Stalkers right now. Cancel Blink, make 3 Stalkers, and easily defend these Roaches. But for now, just a single Stalker. Doesn't want to delay that Blink. Doesn't have 1-1 yet. Has he saturated his gas? Okay, he's got 5 workers mining gas in the natural. He's now got 6 mining in the main. Going out to 4 base gas. 11 Roaches with Roach Speeder on the way. And Trigger's up to 7 gates. In a moment, he'll have 7 warp gates ready, but the Roaches are coming out. I think Cham's just going. Cham has not droned his 4th. He's just like 3 base, mass Roach, me go now. And I think he thinks Trigger's playing too fancy, and Trigger is playing way too fancy. He should see these Roaches starting to mass up now. Tunneling Claws and Burrow are on the way, which does work. Remember, there's no tell using MAPHACKs that he's making those upgrades. Technically, you could look through the minimap and see the Roach Warren is throbbing a little bit. I'm not kidding, guys. Yes, the visual tell of upgrades when you're scouting Zerg is that the structures throb a little bit more. Zerg, stay dirty, man. Zerg is the one race that is disgusting. With the Protoss, it's like, oh, the cyber core's spinning. The lights are flashing on the Nexus. And then you've got every Zerg structure, it's like, oh, there's a bit more steam venting out the top of its orifice, and then it's throbbing a little bit harder. And you're like, no, that's actually an accurate description of what happens. Now, big attack for Roach Ravager Ling. I don't mind this fight, but yeah, he's got to pull back to the battery overcharge, man. Goes a bit too far forward and kind of wastes the sentries there. Hasn't used battery overcharge yet. Throws it down. That cannon refusing to die, though. And that cannon adds a lot of DPS there. So good pullback by Cham, who's massing Roaches and Ravagers. 6 more gateways coming in, but Trigger, has he been too greedy? He's up 13 workers. His 1-1 and Blink aren't quite ready. He might be a bit too greedy here. Oh, the Roaches are just going to shove on top of him. Trigger doesn't have Immortals. He doesn't have Disruptors. He's just trying to do it with raw Gateway Man style. But Cham, being decisive, looks like he might be able to take him down. There's just not enough Stalkers ready. he's not had a smooth enough transition into the gas. And while he's gone into like 8 gases at once, you could just see that Cham's build a little bit simpler. I'm going to make mass roaches. He can also start to burrow and move those roaches in. He accidentally burrowed the wrong unit there. He burrowed the Ravagers. Look at those biles blanketing the worker line. And Cham says, I'm the daddy now. And just looks way more comfortable seeing everything on the map. Look at that. Roaches tunneling into all of these bases at once. Absolute disgusting devastation. And the roaches unburrowing in the natural. They're going to unburrow in the main as well. And yeah, Trigger was just a bit too far behind on the army. Moving forward and fighting where he was also a very bad use of his force field. If he just managed to get up about 10 more Stalkers 30 seconds earlier, bam, it's like totally fine. He absolutely holds this. But when you don't have that damage output, the Zerg gets on top and just starts crumpling your whole line. Your battery overcharge goes off without really doing anything but buying you 5 or 10 seconds, and then the Zerg collapses on in. And Cham just looking a little bit more confident playing the lower economy game here. Trigger built so much static defense across his bases, but static defense is worth nothing if you don't actually have the army to back it up. So I think Trigger made the classic mistake of investing in static rather than investing in actual fighting units. And fighting units is always the more important thing, because otherwise it's like, hey, I've got static spread across 3 or 4 bases, and the other player's like, I have 80 roaches. They don't care about 2 cannons and 2 batteries in one place. Cham, a bit too decisive there, a bit more comfortable with this challenge, and he does manage to get the decisive victory. I love the tunneling clause as well, because even if the game was a bit more even, there wouldn't be any tell until he sees the roaches disappear on the map, and then they just start sliding into his base. Nice. GG.